I want to talk to you today about mental health, because in the hyper-connected world that we live in today, through the internet, there's always someone who's been through the same or a very similar situation as you're in right now. And if you look out there, you can find their story and also how they overcome the situation they're in. So no matter how helpless and how difficult life feels right now, there is always somebody who's been through the same and come out and built a successful life. And I decided to make this video because I was talking to a friend yesterday who's going through a really difficult time right now in life. And I thought I'd share my story to see if perhaps it might help, because I think for about the last year and a half I've been going through depression, and I think people who've been following what I've been doing might have noticed that there's a lot less happening in our community than there used to be. And I feel like I turned the corner about a month and a half ago, and I want to tell people how and see if maybe that can help them get there. So the thing that put me into a depression about a year and a half ago was realizing that this vision I had to try and create a global volunteer community where people just did a little bit every month to try and make where they lived a happier, healthier place and bring a bit more peace to this world. It was never going to be what I'd visioned it was going to be, because we would do amazing work and people would join in and the community would grow, and it was so exciting. But the second I stopped for even a minute, it just all disappeared. And I came to realize that people liked following me. They weren't going to do this on their own steam, at least not in the way that I was doing it. So this vision that I'd committed, seven years of my life to, wasn't going to work. But before I accepted that, I was convinced that I could make it work, and I could make it work by working harder and harder and harder. And I don't know, for maybe a year I was just working like 14, 16 hours a day non-stop, getting up in the morning and just sitting in front of my computer powering things out. And the more it didn't work, the more I thought, I'm going to push even harder, I'm going to make this work, which counterintuitively I think made most people around me feel like either they weren't needed or it wasn't an enjoyable situation to be in, an enjoyable community to be in, because I wasn't having fun. I'm there hunched over like this, and I'm fighting with my computer screen like, I'm going to make this work. This is my vision, and it's going to happen. And that's what I was doing. I mean, all the bars knew me because I'd go around them in circles, so I wasn't in one too often, but they would know that when everyone else was there drinking, partying, having fun with their friends on a Friday, Saturday night, I was there sitting on my laptop until they kicked me out. And I don't think they knew what I was doing, but that's what was happening. So I did that, and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. I'm a very stubborn human being, and I pushed until one day I just couldn't push anymore. And I sat there at my laptop, and I just found myself surfing Reddit and messing around online, and I wasn't doing anything at all. And I think I sat there for 14 hours and I probably achieved about an hour's work, if that, right at the end of the day. And that happened the next day, and maybe not the day after, but then the day after that, and it just became more and more often, and I kind of hit a wall, and I wasn't able to do anything at all. And I would convince myself that I was working, but if I actually looked at what I produced, I was probably doing like an hour or two's work a day and locking myself into this working pattern the whole day. So I mean, obviously I hit a wall. It wasn't going to happen. To make this worse, this was just as a documentary maker had met me and decided to film how interesting my life was and how all these cool things that I was doing to try and make the world a better place. And I'm trying to act out like, yes, this is what I'm doing. This is what I've done before in the past, and look at me doing this great work. When actually, I've hit this wall, and I'm. Some days I reached a point where I just had to let go, and I just wasn't getting up at all. I was like in bed till 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon. Just wasn't doing anything. But I was trying to, and I was trying to put on this trying to let people know that I was doing stuff, trying to show them, but it just wasn't happening. So I'd already had this first moment, or key moment, where I accepted that my depression was normal and natural, and it was a healthy depression. It was something that I needed to go through in order to make a big change in life, to prepare for a big change in life. Then I had my second key realization, and that was that I had failed to create the life that I wanted for myself. And I found that quite difficult to accept. It involved a big letting go of my ego. It's like, okay, so I'm really proud of a lot of the things that I've done and the way that I've lived my life, but the life that I have now is not what I wanted. I've failed to create the life that I wanted right now for myself. And in the future, if I carry on the same way, it's not going to be the life that I want. And that letting go moment, allowing me to let go of my ego for a little while, and let go of my ego completely, and just accept that, hey, I have failed and I need to make a change and I need help. That was my second key moment. That really transformed my life. So I began looking around for help, and I've got hundreds of books in here that I never get around to reading. I love collecting books and then not reading them. So I started audiobooking and filling my mind with people who have been successful, have created wonderful changes in the world, and wonderfully successful lives for themselves as well. So I now listen to audiobooks all the time. I have audiobooks for my alarm clock in the morning. My alarm goes off, and then 10 minutes later my audiobook starts. And my challenge is to get out of bed before that audiobook starts, which is difficult because it's quite nice today, but it's freezing here. And I just fill my mind with the smartest people, the most successful people, the people who made the best changes in the world, and with people who've been in the same situation as me and have found a path to a successful future, to a happy future from there. And so it's completely transformed my life. I listen to maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. I listen when I'm having breakfast in the morning. Then I go to the gym, put my headphones in, listen to more audiobooks. I do 6 hours running a day. 6 kilometers running a day. 6 hours would be way too much. I do 6 kilometers running every day, listen to my audiobooks. And I mean, that's where I am right now. That's the stage I'm in my life right now. And I'm still here. I'm still living in my van. But I don't feel like creating a life which I'm going to feel is successful is really a question anymore. Because I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it with the thoughts and minds and ideas of the most inspirational people around the world. So that's my message for you. If you're going through hard times, find people who have been through in the same situation before and listen to their stories, listen to how they've changed their lives, and that's why I decided to share my story. In the hope that somebody going through a similar situation, perhaps my friend, will find this video, find that journey that I've been on helpful. Because right now I feel fantastic, I feel energetic, I feel as enthusiastic as I've ever felt in life, perhaps more so. And all I did was let go and start opening myself up to other people's stories and how they've created a happy life for themselves. Oh, I messed up the end, that's why I've changed clothes and the bit of fluff here is gone. And yeah, if you want to follow along, I'll do a follow-up. You can click the subscribe button there. if you are going through difficult times right now, please don't go through them on your own, and wish you all the best. I don't feel like... Damn it, I was close!